Very good morning to all. This lecture is about cloud infrastructure services and the code is TCS 761. Myself Dr. Sachin Sharma. We are discussing Unit 3, Understanding Services Oriented Architecture, SOA. So today's lecture will start with SOA reference architecture. So we'll discuss what are the basic concepts of SOA reference architecture. When we talk about the logical versus physical architecture, there is distinction between logical and physical of SOA, such as all runtime elements that are part of physical or operational or deployment architecture are actually running in the operational system layer of SOA RA. Here RA represent reference architecture, and here we will provide a logical abstraction of the runtime at a moment in time and expand that view in terms of a set of layers that are depicted by horizontal or functional layer. So the set of horizontal or functional layer, and another a set of supporting or cross-cutting layers such as backdrop of SOA RA. There are 5 horizontal layers deal with enabling the business capabilities required by the application running on the architecture, and there are 4 supporting layers which support the functionality which is provided by the horizontal layer. And the horizontal or the functional layers include the service component layer and the service layer and the business process layer and the consumer layer. And each aspect of the runtime which is abstracted into a layer whose responsibility is significantly distinct from that of the other layers. For example, the consumer layer is responsible for interaction with consumers of the service, whereas the service component layer is responsible for the implementation of a service in a service component, and that service component in turn will be running in a container within the operational system layer at runtime. Here the basic concepts we are talking about the SOA reference architecture, and there are multiple layers who perform different function. Now we'll discuss about the foundational concept of SOA architecture. So the first question arises, does the consumer layer consist primarily of things such as graphical user interface, or is it a programming means of access to the service, or both? So the answer is it's both. The consumer layer, which provides access to the service, which also allows consumers to consume services, and the mean of consumption of services can be GUI, gateway user interface, or an API, application programming interface, like connection to the services. Now the next question is, can the integration layer access services? So the answer is yes. In fact, the integration layer is a layer of choice through which services are invoked, but it is not only means to invoke service. So it is not focused that the service should be invoked. The services can, in a less mature SOA, can be invoked directly by the consumer without the level of indirection associated with an integration layer. So it won't affect the other layer performance or the functionality. It will be separately invoked without affecting other layers. Which layer is responsible for invoking the service endpoint? The consumer layer. So the consumer layer is responsible for invoking the service endpoint, and it accesses the services via the integration layer, or it can access the service directly if the given architecture does not wish to implement and integration layer. Invocation is done by opening up access to the consumer layer. Who provisions the service? What is the mean of provisioning? Provisioning means doing all of the tasks necessary to make the service available for the consumers to be available to invoke, and part of the responsibility of provisioning is updating the registry in the governance layer, which contains the service metadata that consumers need to find, bind and invoke services. Now the next question is, are all the architecture building blocks ABBs of a layer required for every SOA implementation, or can we pick and choose from among the ABBs based on the needs of individual projects? So the answer is, not all ABBs are required for every single implementation of an SOA, and it is very important to understand this, that instead every project will choose from the list of building blocks within each layer of SOA array and select those that are appropriate for the particular project. As per the project, the layer can be chosen. In the case where SOA array is applied for the enterprise architecture standards within an organization, then there will be a pattern of ABBs within the layer that will be selected, and that will be sometime in some cases it's default. Some will be mandatory or some will be optional, and the projects will be chosen to conform to a fixed set of pattern and configuration of the ABBs along with product selection and implementation. The registries and repositories may need to exist in multiple layers during a physical implementation in my project. Now the question is, where are they considered to be in SOA array? So the answer is, we have chosen to organize the registry and repository location in the governance layer of the SOA array. In this way, we can manage, monitor, administer the registry or a repository from a single logical location, even though physically we may have federation or distribution. So can you tell us about how the 9 layers would be utilized in practice for realization of the architecture? So the answer is, the 4 vertical or cross-cutting layers names are integration layer, quality of service layer, information layer and governance layer are basically supporting capabilities realized through implementation and vendor products, and the 5 functional or horizontal layers, namely operational systems layer, service component layer, services layer, business process layer and consumer layer, will support the functional capabilities of the architecture. The operational systems layer will provide the actual runtime for all layers, vertical or horizontal. What are the ABBs in each layer? So the answer is, they are the key building blocks of a particular layer. You can think of them as the components providing key capabilities that are expected from that layer. For example, the integration is expected to provide mediation, routing and protocol transformation capabilities. Therefore, these capabilities are realized by a set of building blocks, and each of which provides exactly that atomic unit of architecture capability that users are seeking. So now the next question is, where are the policies defined and where are they enforced? Who enforce the developed policy? Policy definition is the responsibility of the governance layer, and the definition of policy enforcement points, PEPs, and policy enforcers is the responsibility of the individual horizontal functional layers such as services layer, business process layer, etc., and the enforcement of those policies is then the responsibility of a cross-cutting layer, and we have chosen to consolidate that within the quality of service layer. Therefore, monitoring and enforcement of the policies are the responsibility of the quality of service layer, while the administration of the policies remains the responsibility of the governance layer. So the policy is defined by organization in the governance layer, and it is also enforced by few functional layer such as service layer, business process layer, and the quality of service layer, it measures the quality of the service. So overall, the governance layer control that part. That's it for the day. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you.